All rise.
Good afternoon, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and help us to celebrate the life of Joseph Edmonds. Joseph Alexander Edmonds was born on July 1st, 1956, and lived until his 69th year, passing on April 11th, 2025. We're going to sing a hymn. The verses, and that is on a piece of paper in the middle of your bulletin, and it's Amazing Grace. I'm sure many of you know it. Would you stand and sing with me today? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Last verse. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise, and then we first begun. Such lovely words as we sing today and begin our service. For today's scripture reading, I have chosen verses from the book of John in the Bible, John chapter 14. And it's where we hear Jesus' words comforting his disciples, starting in verse 1. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going. And Thomas, one of the disciples, said to him, Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way? And Jesus answered, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And then in verse 21 it says, whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I too will love them and show myself to them. And lastly, in verse 27, peace. Peace I leave you. My peace I give you. I do not give you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. We're going to take a minute to read the eulogy, a little bit to learn more about the life of Joseph. And in your bulletin, it's just on the inside of the page, and you can follow along with me as I read. Joseph was born to John Daniel Edmonds Sr. and Mary Magolene Edmonds, a proud and dedicated serviceman. Joseph enlisted in the U.S. Army on June 5, 1979. He rose to the rank of sergeant and served with distinction for over 7 years until his honorable discharge on February 4, 1985. From the 3rd Squadron, 5th Cavalry Regiment, Fort Lewis, Washington, under FORSCOM FC. His service included 2 years, 5 months, and 26 days of foreign duty, with deployments in Korea and in Vietnam. After completing his military service, Joseph made a new beginning. On February 20th, 1986, he emigrated to Canada and landed in Vancouver, British Columbia, where he would begin a new chapter of life. Having met and fallen in love with Marylou Tambogon, he journeyed to be with her and built a life together. Joseph had passion for people. He found joy in conversation, often staying up late to talk with his friends or spend quality time with his friends. He loved socializing and was known for his welcoming spirit and ability to connect with anyone. Professionally, Joseph dedicated many years to the field of security. He held positions with Burns Security, Langara Security, and devoted 14 years of service to Fusion Security. His commitment and excellence in the field were formally recognized by the province of British Columbia, where he was honored as a member of the province's surveillance and security workforce. Joseph is lovingly remembered by his only child, Carmel Azalea Edmonds, and his grandson, Ezra Cyrus Edmonds Larson. He's the little one that's here. He is also survived by his siblings Levi Sylvester, Melvin Edmonds, Glenn Edmonds, Gloria Dolores Edmonds, John Perry Edmonds, and John Daniel Jr. Edmonds. He is predeceased by his parents, John Daniel Edmonds Sr. and Mary Magolene Edmonds, as well as his siblings Cleveland Edmonds and Sheila Lillian Edmonds. His brother Emmanuel Edmonds is currently missing in action. Joseph's life was defined by loyalty, his service, and kind spirit. His presence, his stories, and his love will be dearly missed. Joseph Alexander Edmonds, no one will forget. Well, we would like to give the opportunity to share from those gathered here, but just before we do that, I'd like to read to you something from a dear friend of Joseph's. Hello, my name is Kim, aka Kimmy. I am a friend of Joseph's. Our friend group with Joseph shared many a great time together for many years. Joseph was known to us as Peanut. So if you don't mind, I will call him Peanut for the remainder. Peanut will forever be remembered as one of those characters in life that rarely come along. Peanut had the energy and smile that could light up a room. Peanut's daughter, Carmel, has her father's smile. Carmel brought much pride and joy to her father. When he spoke of Carmel, he spoke very highly and lovingly of her. And his face would light up at the mention of her name. What a beautiful memory. Peanut had a big heart, full of compassion and empathy. Peanut had one of the highest EQs, emotional quotient, of anyone I have ever known. He had empathy for all of his fellow humans, not just for those closest to him. I don't think Peanut ever met a stranger, whether through his job or at a bus stop. Anywhere Peanut met someone, he would call them my friend. Peanut practiced true humanity. Peanut has left the world, the physical world, far too soon. I pray for the healing of hearts for his family and all those who loved him. We now all have an angel we can call by name. Peanut loved the song Amazing Grace. And when he would sing it, it was so beautiful. He sang it from his soul, and it touched so deeply. It would bring tears to my eyes every time. May you rest in peace, our dear friend Peanut. You will be missed greatly and remembered with such fondness. I am so very grateful to have called you friend. Such lovely thoughts and sentiments said here. Thank you, Kimmy. Now, I'd like to take just a few moments. The family thought it would be nice to hear from you. Is there anyone who might like to take a minute to say something to remember? Yes, please stand. Tell us your first name.
Ida.
Good afternoon. For those that don't know me, my name's Yvette. I was a friend of Joseph's. We had a group of us that would get together on weekends, listen to our old school tunes, have a few drinks and a lot of laughs. Joseph, of course, knew all the tunes, from the Bloodstone to the Delphonics. Those were fun times, and Joseph would always say, "You all don't know nothing about that," meaning the songs. Joseph was a good guy. He had a kind heart and soul. Carmel, he spoke of you all the time, and he was so proud of you. So we will all miss you, Peanut, as we used to call you. Your memory will live on, for sure. Carmel, my condolences to you and your family, and may God bless you during this time. I'd like to read a small poem. If I can get it. An angel's hair. An angel whispered in my ear, "Believe in me and have love for you. Come with me and take my hand. I will take you to another land. A place of peace, a place of light. Don't be afraid, just hold on tight. Your earth days are done, but don't be sad. Remember all the times you have. Loved ones will join, don't despair. You have many in heaven waiting there. Your body dies, your soul is free. That is why you get to fly with me." Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Is there someone else who might like to say something? Yes, please.
Joseph Alexander Edmonds. I've known him for over 20 years. We've worked together many times in different buildings, and he's a friend. He was a very good man, always with a loving heart. We have the SOP of our work. And Joseph will be seeing people that we always have to evict from our surroundings. And he's so kind to them and talking to them. He has friends of various sections. Manny here, an engineer from BGC, only heard about Joseph demise yesterday. He came to work from Montreal, and he was so sad and emotional, and promised to show up when I told him where the service would be. And here he is. And Mr. George McIntosh, a former judge and a close friend of Joseph, said he will try and find out what really happened. Pro bono. Pro bono. So he worked with the various agencies surrounding Joseph's demise, coroners and services. So here he is. I thank him very much for his presence. I've seen people from Fusion Security, SSRG here, and I also interacted with them. I've worked with them for over 15 years. When the company first came to be in various capacities, I became a supervisor. And I worked very hard for them. Joseph has no enemies, none that I know of. And he's always open to receiving people. He's a very good man. I remember when we were told one time that immigrants don't wear the poppy. And I said to Joseph that that's not true. The poppy, we lose the poppy easily. Yeah. You know, sometimes I have 4 jackets at home with poppies in them, and I say, oh, you know, we lose them easily. And I narrated a story about the West African Frontier Force and the Sikh soldiers, where during the Second World War, they were promised, the Sikhs were promised independence, and the West African soldiers were also promised independence if they joined the war to fight for the British. And they did that. But after the war, the Sikhs found out they were lied to. And the West African soldiers, where my father was involved, were sent home without even $1 for transportation. And that led to the independence of West Africa. So when I narrated this story, Joseph was shocked. He said, he never knew that. And I said, pick it up. And the Canada Post courier, who said that Don Cherry said those words, and I said, no, Don Cherry doesn't know the history. He may be a hockey man, but he doesn't know the history. And Joseph patted me and hugged me, and I said, I'm glad you know this piece. My father left the United States and went to Africa to fight for the West African Frontier Force instead of the American military during World War II, because of the way they were treating the Germans better than the black soldiers in America. He went to war with the West African Frontier Force. And at the end of the war, the soldiers from Africa, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and Ghana were treated so poorly that he decided to become an African and not go back to America. So we were all born in Africa. He moved to Liberia and later immigrated to Ghana. My father did tell me stories about him. And Joseph, being an American soldier, I tried to let him understand what happened. So Joseph accepted that fact and kept it in his memory that he will preach this sermon to anyone who wants to listen. Most Liberians were Americans, and they went back to Africa because they didn't want the truth all that. And they brought independence to Liberia, and most Africans followed suit. It was the first African nation to gain independence. And Joseph and I used to sit back and talk stories. Yeah, he was in Vietnam. He told me about his journey in the U.S. Army and other places. Always love. And I said, Joseph, now we are security. There are some people who may want to not deal with. But he said, oh no. And I said, yes, I know. You have lawyers, doctors, engineers, accountants, you are friends from every sphere of life. But can we just try to be able to push things backwards? I do feed the homeless. At work, I get food from restaurants. When one day somebody saw that I had used my own money to purchase food for them, and decided that, oh, we will give you our food every day, leftovers, for you to give to them. And there are shelters around me, and I go many times and give them food. And one time, those are giving food behind our building. I came back to see that they are drawn graffiti all over the walls. It takes a lot of money to clean rooms. And I said, Bert, why did you do this? And they laughed. And I went. And I said, well. So Joseph said, Johnson, don't worry. Don't worry about it. They are nice people, just like everyone is that we know. So, the man has a kind heart. There's nothing you can do to change it. One time, we had a minute disagreement over reporting. And it was something that offended him. And I said, no. As a supervisor, mine is always constructive criticism. Don't take it to heart. Spell checking is part of the business. I knew of a reporter who wrote to the Canadian press to be using not only spell checkers, but to be using proofreaders before the final print. There are some words which are hyphenated. Some words are spelled differently or used in an otherwise different way. And he pointed fingers at the Vancouver press for not doing that. So, in my company, a line of business, we do reviews, and they ask us if this person writes very well or speaks very well. And me as a supervisor, I have to know that through their reporting system. So if I say something like this, I'm not accusing.
Good, and pleased that you're doing it. We really appreciate what you're saying. Thank you for your time.
Yes, so that was a minor thing that the company got involved. And they advised me on how to approach things. I have my company guys here, former company I should say. We would have liked Joseph to stay with us when we lost the contract. But he lost his contract. he moved west. And I went. The day I was told my shift started at 6 o'clock in the morning. I come to work always at 5:30. And there was a security officer who told me about Joseph's demise. And I wept. And he was so apologetic for ruining my day that he left. Apologized to me. And I said, don't worry about it. I'm glad you know this. I'm glad you told me this. And he's a friend. He was a great man. And his passing made me wonder, what do they have? This guy is full of life. This guy captivated our building. The lawyers, the judges, everyone, the IT people, everyone. We will stand and listen to Joseph. We will stand around and listen to Joseph. These are people that I never called them by name before, for the years that I've been working. For me, it's always sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am, sir. They know my name. They call me by name. But for me, I want to keep it professional. And I said, how can Joseph balance this? You know, by knowing these people by name. There are certain things we don't want to do at work. And my most fear is trying to assist someone I'm not supposed to. And by being so friendly and interacting with them, would I be able to do my job through my SOP, the site operating procedure. We have to read it and initialize. Don't do this, don't do this. Just because you have keys to someone's building.
One more quick one.
Just because you have keys to a building doesn't mean you should use it. So, this is what I have to say about Joseph. I'm glad there's a lot of people here.
Yes.
Welcoming.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate knowing so many from his work. That's very lovely, and thank you for pointing that out. Just knowing the stories that he was cared for, he was loved by people at work that worked with him. He was respected at work, and yes. We have time for one more person if they'd like to share just a short little something about him. Otherwise, we can just move on in the service. We have a special guitarist in St. Louis here today. His name is Marylou Santana. And we're, once he plays a song, we're also going to watch a video.
Only fools rushing, but I can't fall in would it be a sin if I can't fall in love like a river flows surely to the sea, darlings, where goes some things are meant to be. Take my whole life too. Right, can't falling in love with you. Take my hand, take my whole life too. For I can't fall in love with you. For I can't help falling in love with you. Dragon, okay.
That was lovely. I believe Carvel, you put that together? Some help from your, okay, Austin put it together. Wonderful. It's always nice to be able to capture what's happened in the person's life, and then also just to see just a few pictures of just living. So what a wonderful tribute. Carmel is going to come, and she has a tribute that she wants to do for her dad, and then also the I just want to say, first of all, thank you for speaking.
I have no idea what this.
Super good. It's very hard to show Robin later.
I bought the news. It's 2:45 in the afternoon. On April 11th, Friday. And I remember because I was playing with Ezra. And I think Ezra's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. My father was he was a very special person to everybody. And so finding out about his death was extremely difficult. I didn't really know what to write, but I had something here. And I'll start off with a poem. It's called The Prophet. It's by Cavalry Regiment. I'm going to read the section on death. And it goes, for what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind, to melt in the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides? That it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered. Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountain top, then you shall begin to cry. And when the earth shall clean your lips, then you shall truly dance. And now it was evening, and the young Tracy seeks her son. Blessed be this day and this place, and your spirit have been spoken. And he answered, was it I who spoke? Was it I not also a listener? Then he descended the steps of the temple, and all the people followed him.
And he reached his ship and stood upon his deck. And facing the people again, he raised his voice and said, "People of Orphalese, the wind bids me leave you. Less hasty am I than the wind, yet I must go." We wanderers ever seeking the lowlier way, begin no day where we have ended another day. And no sunrise finds us where sunset left us. Even while earth sleeps we travel. We are the seeds of the tenacious plant, and it is our ripeness and our fullness of heart that we are given to the wind that is turned. I'll say that the best thing you can do in this life is live. There are real life consequences, but that's never going to stop you from living. I cherished my father and who he was, even as a very young child. I would just selfishly ask my dad to buy me toys as a young child, but I realized that we did not have this kind of money. As I grew older, material things proved to have no value. My father, everywhere he went, knew no stranger. And everywhere my father traveled to, a person would come up to him and ask him, "How are you doing?" He was charismatic in his conversations with everyone he knew. If it was serious, he would always tell me to settle down. My father was compassionate, and he extended his care to his work. Joseph loved his work, and every time I'd ask him if he was available, his work came first. He lived by the fact that he was there every day. I feel like watching over the people who worked around him would connect with him daily. My father, a sergeant in his lifetime, was enigmatic. He was a man of integrity and conviction. That was my father, Joseph. Whenever he would see me, he would yell, "There's my daughter!" And he didn't mind telling people if they were a snake in the grass, too. You know, if you were a snake in the grass. He'd be like, "Not be mad. He's a snake in the grass." I'd be like, "Okay, I trust you." The day I found out about his death, I felt like I started losing ground. I think the curtain hit me the most when I realized he was gone and there was going to be no more Joseph. To be honest, I still can't believe he's gone. The essence of my father is gone. I just wish that in some capacity my father would have moved past his walls and we could have been able to say goodbye. My father was someone I loved and feared. His inquisitive character to read an entire room was sharp, and it was as sharp as his wit to laugh and laugh all day. Thank you to everybody who came here today. Each of you knew my father very well and in their own way. And please, if you have some time after to just connect, we'd love to share some time with you. Thank you. It's always tough to talk talk about those whom we love. I remember I had to do a sermon when I was much younger, and my parents were in the congregation, and I started to thank people, and I started to say thank you to Mom and Dad, and then I just lost it in crying. And one thing my dad said to me afterwards, never talk about family until the very end. We know that you loved your dad. And from what we hear, your dad really loved you. And that's something that you can hold on to. You may not know all the circumstances, all the things, but know and rest in it. Thank you for sharing and expressing and telling us a little bit more about the integrity of your father, what he believed, what he lived for. I'm going to share with you just for a few moments. My husband and I have lived in our current house for over 20 years. We live in Langley. And we know our neighbors well. We've seen each other's kids grow up. We've helped each other in stormy weather, and we've even knocked on each other's door when we've needed to borrow an egg or a cup of flour. And I hope you have that kind of neighbors too. I just love that I can be supported by a neighbor, or that I can support them when asked. In Scripture, there's a story about a neighbor that I'd like to read to you, and it's found in Luke chapter 11. Luke is in the New Testament. It's the second half of the Bible. It's the third book in. And this is what it says. Then Jesus said to them, suppose you have a friend, and you go to him at midnight and say, friend, lend me 3 loaves of bread. A friend of mine is on a journey, and they've come, and I have no food to offer them. And suppose the one inside answers, don't bother me, the door is already locked, my children and I are in bed, I can't get up and give you anything. I tell you, even though he will not get up and give you the bread because of friendship, yet because of your shameless audacity, he will surely get up and give you as much as you need. So I say to you, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you. Suppose you have a friend, a neighbor, a cousin, a workmate, and you desperately need their help. You ever been in that situation? I mean, it's super late, there's no one else to call on, so you go and you knock on the door. Well, here in the story, we see that the neighbor doesn't want to get up and help this guy out, even though they're friends. I mean, it's a valid point. It's late, he's tired, the door's locked, the kids are in bed, and truthfully, the house is probably only one room back then. So if he gets up, he's got to wake everybody up because he might be able to tiptoe, but he might also wake people up, including the servants. And the story even points out they're friends, not just neighbors. So the first guy must have been knocking and yelling to make
I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change has gotta come now. Ooh, yes it is. Oh man. It's been too hard living, oh man, and I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the clouds. It's been a long gotta come. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, man. There's a time I will go to my brother. Oh, man. I've asked my brother, will you help me please? Oh, now, oh, man. He turned me down, and then I asked my dear mother. Oh, I said, mother, I'm down on my knees. It's been a time that I Lord, it's been last very long. Oh, now, oh. Somehow I thought I was still able to try to carry on. It's been a long time coming that I know a change is gonna come. Oh, yes it is. Just like I said, I went to my little bitty brother. Oh, my little brother. I asked my brother, help me please. Oh, yeah. He turned me down, and then I go to my little mother, my dear mother. Oh, now.